The Female of the Species, by Gauri Deshpande is a compelling exploration of the complex and often conflicting roles of women within the framework of traditional Indian society. The story delves into themes of gender expectations, cultural norms, and the inherent strength and resilience of women. The narrative centers around the protagonist, Mrs. Kamat, a middle-aged widow who navigates life with a quiet determination. Having lost her husband at a young age, Mrs. Kamat is left to manage her household and raise her children on her own. Despite the societal pressures and financial difficulties she faces, she remains steadfast and resilient, embodying the strength that is often overlooked in women of her generation. Mrs. Kamat's character is meticulously developed to highlight the dichotomy between societal expectations and personal desires. She fulfills her duties with diligence, ensuring her children's education and well-being. However, her inner life and personal aspirations are often stifled by the rigid framework of societal norms. Deshpande paints a poignant picture of a woman who has sacrificed much but remains unrecognized for her contributions. Through Mrs. Kamat's interactions with her children and others, the story sheds light on the generational and ideological shifts occurring within Indian society. Her children, who have grown up in a more modern context, often challenge her traditional views, leading to moments of conflict and introspection. This generational gap underscores the evolving nature of gender roles and the increasing push for female autonomy and empowerment. Deshpande uses the character of Mrs. Kamat to critique the patriarchal structure that confines women to specific roles. Despite her competence and strength, Mrs. Kamat is often seen through the lens of her widowhood and domestic responsibilities. This critique is subtle yet powerful, highlighting the need for a broader recognition of women's identities beyond their familial roles. The narrative also explores the theme of female solidarity. Mrs. Kamat's relationship with other women in her community is depicted with nuance, showcasing moments of support and understanding. This solidarity is a source of strength for Mrs. Kamat, offering her a sense of belonging and mutual respect that is often absent in her interactions with the male-dominated society. Towards the end of the story, Deshpande leaves readers with a sense of cautious optimism. While Mrs. Kamat's struggles are far from over, there is a glimmer of hope that the changing societal attitudes might eventually lead to a more equitable recognition of women's contributions and capabilities. This hopeful note underscores the potential for progress, even in the face of deeply ingrained cultural norms. The Female of the Species, by Gauri Deshpande is a thought-provoking examination of the roles and expectations placed on women within traditional Indian society. Through the character of Mrs. Kamat, Deshpande explores themes of resilience, gender norms, generational shifts, and female solidarity. The story is a poignant reminder of the strength and complexity of women's lives, advocating for greater recognition and respect for their multifaceted identities.